In 1967, Vietnam became a battlefield unlike anything America had seen before. But the real war was not only happening above the jungle. Deep beneath the ground, a hidden tunnel world was waiting. These tunnels allowed enemy fighters to disappear within seconds. The strongest military force on Earth was fighting an invisible enemy. One soldier was sent into this deadly underground maze. His mission was to find the hidden command center, but entering the tunnels meant risking his life with every step. Inside the darkness, silence was his only protection. The tunnel system was carefully designed, not randomly built. Multiple underground levels connected living areas, storage rooms, and secret locations. Some chambers protected soldiers from the constant bombing above. Others became hospitals, shelters, and places to plan attacks. Tommy moved deeper into the tunnels, surrounded by darkness. The narrow walls forced him to crawl through the earth. Then he discovered the first hidden trap beneath his feet. A simple mechanism could turn the tunnel into a deadly weapon. Tommy moved slowly, avoiding every possible mistake. He survived the first danger, but the mission had only begun. Deeper inside Vietnam's tunnels, something far more dangerous waited. The deeper Tommy crawled, the tighter the tunnel became around him. Every movement had to be slow, because one mistake could reveal his position. Then Tommy noticed strange marks carved into the dirt walls. The tunnel was not just a passage, it was a carefully designed battlefield. Hidden traps protected the most important areas underground. Tommy moved carefully past wooden supports and signs of recent activity. A small sound echoed through the narrow passage. Tommy stopped moving and listened carefully. Somewhere ahead, someone else was inside the tunnels. Tommy waited silently, unsure how close the enemy might be. But moving forward was the only way to complete his mission. The tunnel slowly opened into a larger underground chamber. Inside were supplies, equipment, and signs that soldiers had recently been there. This was proof that the tunnel network was still active. Tommy knew he was getting closer to the heart of the operation. Ahead, several passages split into different directions. Tommy studied each route, trying to determine which one led deeper. The passage he chose became wider and more heavily reinforced. Then Tommy discovered papers and a rough map inside a hidden workspace. The clues suggested the command center could be only moments away. He stopped outside a large underground room and listened. Tommy carefully entered a large underground chamber and scanned the room. Dirt walls and wooden supports surrounded him on every side. He noticed strange markings carved into the tunnel walls. The deeper sections were clearly engineered with careful planning. Hidden traps protected important areas of the underground network. Tommy crawled slowly past wooden supports and recent signs of activity. Then a faint sound echoed through the darkness ahead. Tommy froze and listened carefully. He switched off his flashlight and waited in complete silence. An empty passage stretched ahead, but someone could be nearby. Tommy knew he could not stay there forever. He slowly continued toward the unknown passage ahead. The narrow tunnel finally opened into a larger underground chamber. Inside were supplies and equipment that showed recent human activity. A glowing lantern and fresh footprints suggested someone had just been there. Tommy realized the tunnel network was still actively being used. Ahead, several passages branched into different directions. He chose the passage that appeared to lead deeper underground. The tunnel became wider, stronger, and more developed as he continued. Then Tommy discovered papers and a rough map inside a hidden workspace. He stopped outside a large underground room and prepared to discover what was inside. To cook and breathe underground, they built ventilation shafts from the tunnels to the jungle floor. Many of these shafts were disguised as termite mounds, but cooking created a dangerous problem. Smoke could reveal their location. So meals were often prepared in the morning or during rain when natural conditions could hide the smoke. Tommy squatted beside the cooking area and noticed a few grains of rice clinging to a crusted pot. The embers were still warm. Someone had been here only moments earlier. Tommy's pulse quickened as he realized the enemy could be nearby. Back home, the news constantly told Tommy about American success and tactical victories. But inside Vietnam, the reality felt completely different. Everything seemed stuck, with no clear progress anywhere. Tommy realized he had only been shown one side of the story. The enemy was still operating beneath the jungle, hidden from American forces. There was no time to waste. Tommy hoped the next chamber would finally be the command center. He wanted to get back to base and sit beside a warm fire. But the tunnel continued deeper, Then the ground began to slope downward. Tommy stopped immediately. He knew exactly what that meant. He was entering the second level. The deepest levels contained the most important secrets hidden beneath the jungle. Surgery bays, weapons workshops, supply caches, and the command center were somewhere below. The air became thicker as Tommy crawled deeper into the earth. Then Tommy heard something moving in the darkness. The sound came softly from a tunnel to his right. Shuffling footsteps echoed through the narrow passage. Tommy froze completely. A whisper of voices followed, too quiet for him to understand. They did not know he was there. Tommy tightened his grip on the knife and waited. He listened intensely until the sound slowly began to fade. For the moment, it was a false alarm. Tommy continued toward the next chamber. Then he noticed a faint glow ahead. A bed was pressed against the underground wall. Nearby were blood-stained bandages, scissors, and medical supplies. Glass jars lined a rough shelf carved into the dirt. In the corner stood a bicycle-powered generator. It provided a quiet way to produce electricity underground. Tommy suddenly heard a faint tapping sound echoing through the chamber. He immediately recognized it. Someone was digging nearby. The Viet Cong had learned to dig when rain or jungle noise could hide the sound. Workers carried the excavated dirt far away from the tunnel entrances. Some soil was scattered across fields, buried in bomb craters, or dumped into rivers. That meant other Viet Cong fighters could be moving above him. Tommy hoped the rain would stop soon, because his escape was becoming much harder. Medical rooms like this were usually placed on the second level, close to the command center. Tommy realized he was getting very close to his target. The tunnel tightened again as he crawled forward. The walls pressed against his shoulders while his hands scratched through the dirt. Then the passage suddenly opened. Tommy stopped and looked into the darkness ahead. This was not another storage chamber. He could not see what was inside. Using his flashlight could expose his position, but staying blind could be even more dangerous. Tommy had no choice. He switched on the light. What he saw made his blood run cold. He had entered a trap room. Most of these traps were not designed to kill immediately. Their real purpose was to make soldiers afraid of every step they took. Bamboo stakes were stacked in one corner, each sharpened to a deadly point. Tommy remembered seeing a soldier fall through a false floor above ground. The pit beneath it had been filled with sharpened spikes. Some traps were designed to cause infection rather than immediate death. Nearby, Tommy spotted another pile of ordinary-looking tin cans, but they were not harmless. Inside were grenades connected to tripwires. Pulling the wire could release the grenade safety mechanism. Tommy understood how the Vietnamese fighters had turned the underground environment into a weapon. He switched off his flashlight and continued deeper into the darkness. Ahead, the tunnel suddenly divided into two separate passages. From the left came the faint sound of voices. The right passage was completely silent. Tommy stopped between the two tunnels and listened carefully. One direction could lead directly toward the enemy. The other could lead into another deadly trap. He waited motionless, counting each breath before making his next move.